Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 11:11 a.m. Fireside Chat. Thank you so much for joining me, Vickie Meeks Miller, on this wonderful Wednesday, March the 30th, 2022. Oh, March has blown by like a March wind, hasn't it? Well, we are delighted to be with you today, and I'm delighted to welcome Chaplain Gary Kingery as my special guest today, who is going to be talking about a wonderful program that will happen right here on the 11:11 a.m. Fireside Chat. It will be a spiritual wellness chat that will take place on the Fridays that are the second, third, fourth Friday. And then they will move into May, which will provide information that we all need to know. I am going to turn it over to Chaplain Gary to tell us all about it, all of the details. Now, remember, on this coming Friday and the first Friday of each month is the physical wellness chat, and that will take place right here on the 11:11 a.m. Fireside Chat on Friday. But then thereafter, for the next Fridays, Chaplain Gary will be joined by some special guests to share some important information for us all. Thank you so much, Chaplain, for being here with me. I can't believe this is the first time you and I have actually done the broadcast together. So welcome, and thank you for joining me today. So tell us all about the spiritual wellness chat that we can expect on the second Friday and going forward.
Okay. Thank you for having me, Vickie. I appreciate this. I do want to do a precursor here. It's really not a spiritual thing. This is an informational packet that we're putting together to help people understand. I've been in the ministry almost 40 years now.
Wow.
And one of the biggest questions and one of the most repeated questions that I have is, when a loved one dies, what do I do now? And I thought that it would be great for us to come together on 11:11 and share information about what do we need to know, what do we need to do. And I come up with 6 different sessions, and I'm going to discuss each session in just a minute. But I do want you to understand, we would like for you to come and be a part of this live, and after the TV time, which will be 20 to 25 minutes, we're going to allow you to ask questions. And then the last session, we're opening it up to questions, and anybody that emails me or calls me on the phone and has a question and wants me to present that question, we'll go over those questions also. So our dates, of course, on the 11:11, starts on April the 8th. And the first thing that we're going to be doing on April the 8th would be on the topic of why it's even important in the first place to think about death and everything that goes with it. Dave Vanderpool, general manager of Okies, but we're not promoting Okies. He just really have volunteered to come and help me with this. And also we'll have other funeral directors come and help, and Buck Simmons will be here during one of them to help with how he does things. And we're just going to try to make this a very important informational time for everybody. So we're going to talk about what's involved in all of this. And we're going to discuss this at length about our first session about why do we need to discuss this topic? What is it that we need to talk about, and why is it so important? And that would be really a great introduction. And then on April the 15th, the next Friday, we're going to discuss the 3 main options as they relate to traditional arrangements, crematory options, and body donations. We're going to talk about that in length so you can understand that. I can't give you the facts, but the funeral people can.
Exactly.
And there will be several things to discuss for each. Really, once someone grasps the idea of death, they have to then decide on one of these options, because these are it. These are the three options that you have. So we're going to talk about that on April the 15th. And also, we may have Buck Simmons come in on that and talk on that day also. We're just putting this together to help us understand what are we doing and where are we going with this. Right. And then April the 22nd, Vickie, we're talking about the wishes of the loved one that passed away or whoever it was. Lots of choices when it comes to the wishes of what people would want in their homegoing. I call it a homegoing or their funeral or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
From embalming to having an obituary to the music to visitation and to the service. And this is where I'll have a couple funeral directors on this one, because different communities do different things differently. The Muslims do things differently. Right. So we have to talk about the whole gamut of how we need to look at that and what we need to understand when it comes to our last wishes. And what is it can we wish? Can we ask a loved one to do? Mm-hmm. And also how involved is it to make sure that gets done?
Yes.
And then also we'll be talking about on April the 29th, the next week, we're going to talk about the financials, your pocketbook. Mm-hmm. You know, it's real important that we understand the overall cost with the rate of inflation, the role of life insurance, and the advantages, and this is one that I'm looking forward to hearing, the advantages of prepaying, making the arrangements with the funeral home. Mm-hmm. And I do know this, and this is really important, that this will be one of the ways that we'll discuss about. This will be how you will get things carried out. It won't be any difference. It'll be the way you want it, because it'll be in the funeral home, in the record books, and it'll be written down, and this is what they would require.
Right.
So on April the 29th, we're going to talk about that. And then we'll skip a Friday, because the first Friday of May, the exercise people will be talking. So then on May 13th, this is the big checklist, and I'm just going to read it to you. Some of the things that need to be carried out once someone dies. Yes, this will be left for someone else to do, but it is important to know what this list, so as to make it easier for the survivors of the family. Mm-hmm. Death certificates, for instance, Social Security, what you do at the bank, military, credit cards, cell phones, and wills. We're going to talk about all of that. Now that, to me, it sounds like a lot in 20 minutes. So if you want to be here and ask questions, make sure you come and you're a part and you can ask questions. So that's what's going to happen on May the 13th. And then May the 20th, this is our open forum. You may have come and you may have been a part and asked some questions, but after you got home, you thought about, doggone it, I wish I would have asked that other question. Mm-hmm. And you write it down, and then on May the 20th, it's an open forum. Anything goes there. We're going to have the funeral directors here, and they will talk about, at this time, they will talk about the answers to whatever questions you come up with. And any questions that will come by email or by phone to me, we will also be answering those questions also. So, what do you do when you don't know what to do?
Exactly.
So this is what we're trying to do. We want to not promote any funeral home whatsoever. We're not doing that, folks, so don't think we're doing that. We're not. But what we are doing, we're promoting information.
Yes.
About what to do. And I just wonder if you, as we talk here, have also already thought about a lot of questions in your mind. So this is something that, and I'm going to say this again, I've said it a few times, every 1 out of 1 person dies. So that's 100%. Mm-hmm. So we have got to face those challenges when they come. Right. And we don't want it to be a surprise. Right. We want it to be a part of the people's lives. Right. So, Vickie, do you have any questions? Or this is pretty much what we're going to do April the 8th, 15th, 22nd, 29th, and then we're going to start back on May the 13th, and we'll close on May the 20th.
Yes. Well, it sounds like it's takes the guesswork out of a lot of things that, are necessary for us to know. And it's always better to be prepared. And also, it might reduce some of the fears or anxiety that surround this subject, because it's something we all will face.
I think you hit it. The anxiety and the fear. That's two major words that we're trying to take care of so it won't happen in your life.
Yes.
And when a loved one passes away.
It gives you also options to be empowered in the process, because, you can pre-plan and have everything in place that you wish, and therefore that it would be carried out. So it sounds very empowering, as well as information, great information that will be shared.
And I know the people listening now and will watch it later likes that word empowered, because they like to be empowered or like to know what to do so they can not let anybody pull any wool over their eyes, as they say.
Yes, that is true. Now, you mentioned a couple of the directors that would be involved. Are there some others that you can tell us about?
Well, right now we're looking at some others, but we haven't got no response, so I'm not really at privy to share that right now. But we are looking for different ones to come in and share that. I have reached out to a priest of a Muslim congregation, and I haven't got any replies back from that. So we're trying to do our best with diversity here, because that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we look at all avenues.
Certainly.
In what we're doing here.
Well, it's all coming together, it sounds, and it really is information that we need. And I'd like to thank you for putting this all together. I know this has been a vision that came to you that you believe, and we all believe, needs to be discussed, takes away some of the mystery that surrounds this subject. And then you can come and be right here with your friends and neighbors, and just share in this informational session. So be sure to join Chaplain Gary right here on those dates, in which not only will you receive the information, but then you will have the opportunity to correspond and have a dialogue with those presenters that will be available.
Yes, and that's what we're trying to do. And if you have any other suggestions, throw them my way. We'll look at them, because we are having our first session on April the 8th, and that's just right around the corner.
Right around the corner, yes.
We have, don't forget, April 1st is April Fool's Day, and that's Friday. So
yes.
Don't pull nothing over on anybody now.
Yeah, we're not starting it on that day.
Okay.
Now, Chaplain Gary, could you share your contact information so that if anyone does have questions, they can send you an email or call you directly?
Yeah, my email is gkingery@richfieldliving.com. And you'll get my email through that, gkingery@richfield.com. And then also you could call the main operator. She has my number, and she will ring you right to my cell phone number. If you're writing anything down right now, of course, in our bulletin, I got my cell phone number. It's 540-354-8164. 540-354-8164. And if you have something you'd like for me to introduce to one of our sessions, I'll be glad to. If you don't know what session it belongs to, just call me and give it to me, or email me, and I'll put it in the right session that we'll be talking, and let you know when we'll be talking about that question.
Well, one thing that we've learned here at Richfield is whenever the residents get involved in whatever the program may be, it's always better. You
Yes.
all are a wealth of knowledge and resources. So anything that you think would be beneficial, please share that with Chaplain Gary, and therefore he can cover that information as well. So we, of course, always invite your involvement. And again, we certainly do thank you, Chaplain, for putting this together.
And also, if you don't feel comfortable sharing it with me, you can always give it to Vickie, and Vickie will give it to me also. If you feel like you've been talking to Vickie and you feel more comfortable sharing it with her, she does not mind, right?
I certainly
and
don't.
She will be glad to pass it along to me, and that would be a way of communication also.
Indeed, of course. I am always available to assist and do my very best to get that information to the person that needs it. In this case, it's Chaplain Gary, who is put together this wonderful informational program that I know will be beneficial to us all. So stay tuned. We will see you here in the chapel on the 8th for the very first session, and every Friday thereafter at 11:11 for this month, for the next month of April. Taking a break the first Friday in May for the physical wellness chat, and then resuming for the following 2 Fridays in May, the final on the 20th being the information session, in which the floor will be open to you, your questions, and providing you with the information that you need.
Sounds good. Vickie's got it all. She is fantastic, isn't she?
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. You're making me blush. I just have to mention that because earlier in the week, I told you that I was going to have a different guest. And then shortly before I was to come on, I learned that guest wouldn't be able to be here. And Chaplain Gary jumped right in. I mean, this was something that we planned to do to bring this information to everyone because we want this to get out. And please share this information with your neighbors if they don't watch the 11:11 or don't happen to get a calendar or whatever, because that information will be on the calendar. Please share this with everyone that you know, because again, this is something that everyone will need to know. But I just have to mention that my brother here just jumped right in and said, hey, and I think the Lord sent him by my door because I'm in the computer like trying to think about what I can do. And he stopped by and then he said, well, you need me? And, that's a testament to Chaplain Gary. That's who he is, If you need him, he's there, and he'll jump right in. So I certainly do appreciate that today.
Well, Vickie knows as well as I know, and you need to know, we're all a team here working together, doing the best we can. I know sometimes there are hiccups, and sometimes things don't work out the way we want it, but most of the time we try to do the best we can and just communicate and work together as a team and support each other.
Indeed. So on that note, from my jar of awesomeness, the quote that comes to mind is one we hear a lot. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes, and there's no I in team.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we're going to have to do this again because I think we make a good team here.
Yeah, right.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. Thank you for, always supporting the program and the programs that we have here at Richfield for you. And please be sure to support the program that Chaplain Gary has worked so diligently on providing this information to you all. I hope you will have a wonderful Wednesday and a wonderful rest of the week. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.